Cubs are going for a series win against the Twins. Michael Busch is helping them and their case against Joe Ryan. Home run, but Joe Ryan, by the way, 2.81 ERA against the Cubs in his career, so not really a favorable matchup here. The third inning is where shiz kind of hits the fan. We'll get to that in a second. But here in the second, Mike Tauchman pops up the ball, and let's just watch Joe Ryan immediately. He just kind of goes, is that ball going to hit me? And then continues to do this kind of silly boy run off of the mound. I don't know what is going on here. Is this his personality? Can someone let me know if Joe Ryan does this often? It really got me thinking, and I was like, why does this feel so familiar? And, well, it reminded me of Rachel and Phoebe running in the park like this.
Come on, let's start running, let's go!
But my good friend Ryan Williams actually had a really good comparison. He said Tommy Boy and the Bees scene. Bees! Bees! Bees to the star! Yeah, that's a better comparison. But then, hey, here's the third inning. This is a 30-minute, start of a 30-minute third inning, and Joe Ryan has hurt himself on this ball to PCA. Looks like just kind of irks something there. He knows right away, and as soon as you see him call out the trainer, you know he's probably out for the game. At this point in the game, the Twins had a 57% chance of winning, but as soon as Ryan was coming out, I felt a huge swing in the momentum. I'm thinking 57% Cubs now. And in comes Trevor Richards. If he didn't have gray hair before this outing, he would have it at the end. PCA coming up to the plate with a 1-2 count. Richards is going to be all over the place in this outing, including the very first pitch changeup, and that's not even close. PCA's like, hey, you need some more warm-up pitches there? Then after a full count, PCA is looking dead red. Fastball gets it and smokes that one into right field, 100.7 miles off the bat. And if he's on first base, we all know what's happening next. 21 out of 21 in stolen bases so far this year. Make it 22 out of 22. Dude made it a point for him to work on his base running all offseason. He did just that, and it has paid off. He's been a huge difference maker on the base paths for the Cubs. Then, ball 4 to Bethancourt. We have already seen the one and only base hit of the inning for the Cubs. After that, it's just all Richards being wild. And here is a little ground out, force out from Ian Happ. That makes it first and third with 1 out. More from Ian Happ later in this game, though. And now you've got Michael Busch up at the plate, who had the home run in his first at-bat. And on a full count pitch, here is walk number 2. Could have easily gone Richards' way, but because he's been kind of all over the place, he doesn't get that. And he's like, dude, I'm supposed to be in the bullpen right now. Why? And it just keeps on getting worse for him. This is crazy, though. Look at this. I mean, Seiya Suzuki, yeah, you get a lot of balls called strikes, but this one is just out of control. He needs to learn some sort of English, just one cuss word in English, something in English just to tell umpires he's not okay with that. But he still walks in this at-bat. That is walk number 3, if you're counting at home, for Richards, which, by the way, as a reliever, ties his career high of 3 walks as a reliever. He had walked 7 at one point as a starter when he was back with the Marlins. Now, this is a really good sign. Isaac Paredes, with a 1-2 count, just needs a fly ball to the outfield. He does not hit the ball with authority to right field, but he does his job. And as we look at the replay here, you can just tell he's just trying to keep his hands inside the ball and lift it to at least some part of the field. This is a perfect sign of situational hitting. Meanwhile, Christopher Morel, sorry fans, probably would be trying to hit it to the lake at this point. But it gives the Cubs a lead, 3-2. I miss Christopher, but I like the situational hitting from Isaac Paredes. Let's go back to the crazy wildness of Richards. Change up in the dirt to Mike Tauchman. That goes to the backstop, and in comes the Cubs' 4th run in the form of Michael Busch. And this catcher is like, dude, how hard are you going to make me work? Actually, a little bit harder. You'll see in a second. This is walk number 4. He has now broken his record of 3 walks as a reliever. Make that number 4. And here is more of that wildness. Another changeup in the dirt. Dude just can't figure it out with the changeup. And before you get too like, hey, why isn't this catcher like getting in front of this ball? I watched the replays on this, and just watch very slowly as we go frame by frame here. That ball, typically a changeup is going to come back to, as you can see, it's a right-handed pitcher. Typically that ball is going to essentially do this. It's going to go, and it's going to kind of fade into the righties, or like to Tauchman here, fade away from the lefties. But instead, it just kind of continues to have this pulling motion, and then when it hits the deck on the right side here, we get the ball hitting the ground a little bit earlier. Watch what happens. It just jets off to the left there. One more time. Okay, we're looking on the right-hand side right now. Ball hits the ground, and boom, takes off to the left. Now, let's look over on the left-hand side, and ball does the same thing. Look how much it just jets off to the left there. As a catcher, I don't know how in the world you're able to defend that. I feel bad for the catcher. And Richards walks his 5th batter in Nico Horner, and that is going to be the end of it for him. Final line for him, 1/3 of an inning, 1 hit, 3 runs, and 5 walks, and Ian Happ puts this game out of reach in the 4th. A 2-run home run from Happer, and the Cubs walk away with a win and a series win, a huge one at that, against the Twins, 8-2 the final.